Kitani from USP Scientific Services, and I welcome you all for today's meeting. And the topic of discussion is going to be lifespan to health span, role of physicians. So the session aims to explore the evolving responsibilities of physicians in extending not just the duration of life, but also enhancing its quality. And to take us through this session, we have quite able, doctors who have joined us today. And to head this session, I would request a personality who requires no introduction. He is Dr. N.K. Singh, sir. He is an admin and founder of CME India. And I welcome you, sir, for today's session. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Nita. Uh, can you display the, yeah, so I think this slide will be later on displayed. First, let us start with, yeah. So, welcome you all today for the next episode of this CME India webinar, which we are doing every month. Today's speaker is a bit unique, and the topic is also very unique. I think exactly unique panelist we have got today. The first, let me introduce a great welcome Dr. Binod Avichandani. He is the diabetes and endocrine physician since January 1985. You are well aware from the Ahmedabad. He is the principal investigator of many trials, which you can see here. He is the fellow of the Research Trust of Diabetes India, a regional faculty at Ahmedabad, associate editor and reviewer of clinical diabetology via Medical Journal and reviewer in International Journal of Diabetes in Developing Country. So welcome, Dr. Binod sir. And the next, yeah. So and then I think Dr. Arvind Gupta also needs no introduction to our all audience. He is the MD FRCP, FICP, FS, you can see, and senior consultant and head Department of Internal Medicine and Diabetes, RHL Rajasthan Hospital, the Jaipur. Many awards, many, I think, in many important studies which we have got today, that is by Dr. Arvind Gupta. He is also the co-author and researcher, associate editor of the IJDCC, presented papers in various international conferences, over 109 research papers you can see. So welcome, Dr. Arvind Gupta.
Thank you.
And
Thank you, sir.
next, I welcome also, yeah, so Dr. Vijay Patni. I think today also in India, everybody knows him. He is the HOD Diabetes Wellness Clinic, Kolkata, member of the many uh, prestigious organizations, contributed many articles, many research papers. Recently, has also written a book on the diabetes for the primary physicians and our patients alike, and has got awards and achievements. He is the regular part of this CME India webinars. And next, Dr. Akash Kumar Singh, he will be just joining. Please display. Again, he is the part of the CME India, with the current senior consultant at medicine diabetology at Baroda, invited faculty and many conferences, many publications in international and national journals. And with that, I request Dr. Arvind Gupta to kindly introduce today our very unique speaker, Dr. Shekhar Mas from the Mysore, sir. Welcome you, sir. So, Dr. Arvind Gupta, now I hand over this podium to you.
Thank you, Dr. N.K. Singh, sir, for inviting me to this beautiful evening symposium. And the topic is very unique, as you have already told. So it is my proud privilege to introduce a person who is known as Dr. M.A. Shekhar. I know him personally. Dr. Shekhar, welcome for this unique symposium today. He is the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Adi Chunagiri University. He is the former Director, the Karnataka Institute of Endocrinology and Research, Bangalore. He is the former Professor of Medicine and Head of Department of Endocrinology at MMCRI, Mysuru. Is the Director and Consultant Diabetologist, Apurva Diabetes Foundation, Mysuru, Member Governing Council, Mysore Medical College, Member Governing Council, JSS Medical College, and visiting an adjunct faculty of JSS Medical College. So, I mean, this is something which gives his stature of the person. And he has published a lot of papers and several papers in peer-reviewed journals. I know him personally. So just I want to start before he will give us the idea about the life and the what the health span and the lifespan of our as a physician. My father was a teacher, Dr. Shekhar.
Oh, right.
And I'll recite just his one poem, not full poem, just the initial one. And it is in Hindi. I'll translate little bit later. So it is said that Sundar se nit sundar tar, सुंदर से नित सुंदर तर और सुंदर तर से सुंदरतम और सुंदर जीवन का क्रम हो और सुंदर सुंदर हो जीवन. It says that life is really a beautiful thing and you have to enjoy. And the another line is मन के मधुमय आंगन में बरसों अविरल सुख के घन जीवन हो सरसेज करने और बरसों सुखुआ के श्रावण. That means it is life is for others. The God has given the life for others. So we are so proud as a physician that we have to serve the humankind. That is something unprecedented. We should live the life like this, and which is what my understanding there. We will hear most of the things from Professor Shekhar here. So just with this initial remarks, I'll hand over the session to Professor M.A. Shekhar.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
I always admire this extraordinary man. Singh is king.
Yes.
He is the one, who has held on to the extraordinary, how do I say, quality of medicine in this country with this CME group. 1, 2, 3, 4, he was telling me. An unbelievable guy. He deserves, if at all there is a medicine alternate Nobel Prize, he deserves that.
Too much, sir.
Okay. Having said that, today I was, in fact, the king and I had, met in Vijaypura in Karnataka. After my speech, he said, you should talk about this to our people. So today I'm here. I hope it is well taken by you people, because I'm not putting any evidence-based medicine here. I'm not putting any eminence-biased ideas. It's just that last 45 years of my clinical practice, what I have thought a little bit about where we are really missing, with, of course, a little bit of evidence-based medicine.
No, sir, what's your opinion about this topic?
I am very eagerly looking forward to Dr. Sekhar's.
Sir, I got the slide, sir. Sir, I got the slide deck.
Yeah, good.
Yes, sir. Yes, I share.
Blockbuster talk I am
Sure.
looking
Nita, you
forward
share.
to. But my
Yes.
one-liner, if you permit me, one-liner observation,
Yeah, yes, sir.
that we have experienced the longevity leap, but we need to mind the health span gap. That should be the gist of today's sir's talk, I believe. And look forward to good interactions, sir.
Yeah. I heard Dr. Shekhar's oration earlier also.
No, I have unfortunately not been able to have that advantage, but I look forward to listening to him today. And
Exactly, sir. So,
learning a
Nita,
lot.
you got it?
Sir, yes, sir, can I share it with your permission?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
share it
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you proceed also. Yeah,
Sure,
fine.
sure.
It is
Are
coming up.
the slides? Are the
Yeah,
slides
that's
visible, sir?
fine,
Yeah.
fine.
Yes, yes,
Sure, sir.
perfect.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay.
Exactly. Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Start off.
Second, sir. Yeah.
Don't go further. Go back.
Go back. Nita, go back.
You stop here. Next. Stop here. I'll just prompt you. You can go.
Sure, sure, sir.
Friends, ladies and gentlemen, please look at this picture. Okay, this photograph or picture. And can you share me your feelings in next 2 minutes, please?
This is an extended joint family, which rarely exists in India, basically.
Okay.
And this is a very rare photograph to see if it is a extended joint family nowadays, where the nuclear family is a rule.
Vinod, sir, what's your feeling?
And I think it is a 3 generation.
Yes.
3 to 4.
But I will look at it slightly differently, compared to my learned colleagues. I think it's a very cohesive unit full of maybe family members, neighbors, working group, and all of them showing unity and
And I think that grandmother or somebody is there on the coffin or what is that?
Yes.
But sir, some people are laughing here
Yeah.
and some are not laughing here. So what's the meaning of that?
On the
It is a
background, there is a
mysterious
Nita, you can go.
Should I?
Yes, sir.
so probably, yeah, Bijoy
So
sir,
she
please.
probably,
Patni Saab,
she
your Patni
probably,
Saab.
she
Had a
probably
good
lived her
lifestyle.
the respected lady in the coffin
Yes.
probably lead a life in a very healthy state,
Yes.
and all of them are enjoying that moment. I think this is what they want to say.
At our place in Rajasthan, it is known as Sone ki Sidi. Means it is a ladder. This is a golden ladder or something like that. When she attains the 3 or 4 generations in the family.
Okay, fantastic. Now let me go ahead. Nita, click, please. I lost the slides. Hello?
Nita? I think
Okay, we
Lost my
lost
connection.
Nita.
You,
Sir, sorry.
you
Sir,
again
sorry.
reshare. You
Yes,
reshare.
sir. I lost
Somehow
my
you missed it.
connectivity.
okay.
Yeah.
No, I
The
lost my network. Yes.
Yeah, fine.
click one. Next, please.
Yes.
This is it. This is my explanation. I didn't understand this picture. Please explain. I have asked you to explain. Many people said it's a 4 generation, 3 generation family. Some people said this is the way we should live. It is not seen, etc., like that. But Dr. Arvind said and Dr. Singh said, there is a very old lady in a coffin. This is where it starts. And look at young people, they are grinning teeth to teeth. There are some older people who are a little bit somber, and some older people who are looking very relieved. This is the crux of what the system goes through. I'm sure that lady must have seen 90 years. She must have been an octogenarian. And as somebody said, she must have had a very healthy life till 90 and she died. But looking at some of the senior people, she must have suffered. Both ways it can happen. She lived up to 1995, very healthy life, independent. She died, everybody is happy. She lived up to 80, 75 with a healthy life. Next 10, 15 years, she really suffered. And the people, the so-called children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren also had to suffer through. It's, how do I say, a paradox of healthy life and probably a long life with lot of problems.
Illness.
This is the crux of my talk today. Next, please.
Yes, sir.
I'm so sorry, something is happening here. These are the definition: aging, healthy aging, and Dr. Vinod beautifully put lifespan leap and health span gap. What is lifespan? What is health span? What is life expectancy? What is longevity? I'm not going to bore you people about this definition. It's just simple concept. We all age. No way the time can go back. No way the time can stop. It inexorably goes forward and we age. Certain people age slowly. Certain people age a little bit rapidly. Certain people look as if they are not aging at all. But what is important today, whether you are a doctor, whether you're a patient, whether you're a friend, a neighbor, healthy aging is very important. I remember Sri Krishna, when Subhadra was pregnant with Abhimanyu, Krishna went to her place and she said, "You are like a god to me. Give a boon to my son or my child." Krishna looked at her, Sri Krishna looked at her and said, "Get a very, very lucky child." What he said was, "Get a very, very lucky child." Subhadra, first pregnancy, got very angry and said, "Brother, Anna, I asked you to give a great boon, very powerful like Bhima, very, very, Dharmaraya, etc., etc. But you are saying lucky people. And Krishna smiled and said, look at Dharmaraya, who stood for Dharma, and he had to beg for food. Look at Arjuna. He had to wear females' dress and dance in front of people. Look at Bhima. He had to cook for people. Do you want such unlucky people, though they have the greatest component in life? Or do you want a lucky person? A 5-year-old should be very happy playing. A 10-year-old should be very happy going to school. 20-year-old, very happy getting degrees and getting in. 70-year-old, very happy that his grandchildren are coming up into a normal this thing. This is the concept. Healthy aging is what we should look at ourselves as well as our patients. Next, please. Right. I'm not again going to bore you about this, but psychosocial model of health and disease, psychological factors, social factors, and biological factors. What makes us health? What leads to disease? There are so many, I'm not going to bore. Every one of us know about it. It's not just physical factors. It's not just biological factors. It's also psychological and social. So with this background, can we change psychological factors and social factors as doctors is what is important. Biological, probably we can do very well. Physical, probably fantastic we are doing. These two are the ones we have to take care. Next, please. Right. This is, I urge every one of you to go through this. It's just a document. It's not an evidence, this thing, but document, which you can call it as review, you can call it as systematic review, or whatever it is. Global burden of disease, 670 billion plus, inputs, data, etc., like that. Next, please. Which just says 2021, life expectancy is expected to rise by literally 5 years for men and 4.2 years for women by 2050. But as on 2025, women live longer than men. This is going to change. This is the outcome that they have expected. The study indicated that people will likely spend more years in poor health. I would like to repeat. The study indicated that people will likely to spend more years in poor health, suffering from cardiovascular, cancer, chronic upset, etc., etc. You know the story. Experts stressed the importance of preventive measures, including healthy eating, regular exercise, managing hypertension, diabetes, cholesterol to mitigate these health risks. Now, my dear colleagues, how many of us really spend time with our patients about healthy eating habits and regular exercise? The patient spends 10, 15 minutes with you. After that, he or she has to leave another 33.5 hours in a day with himself or herself. Unless we take that step of convincing them about these things, let me tell you, we are not going to succeed. Next, please. Okay, we are talking about lifespan, the total number of years we live. What is the lifespan of an Indian average lifespan? 69, 70, 72, 74? I leave it to you. But health span is what we have to look at. Now, independence, when India, we all got our independence, I was not born. The lifespan was about 40 years. Most of the people who reached 40 would be dead at the 41st year with an infection, with this and that and all that. Today, they live up to 70. But that 41-year-old Indian who died, he died or she died healthily. They did not have any other disease, cholera, some pneumonia, bubonic plague, blah, damn, they were dead. Today, we have made them live because infectious diseases have come down. But what has happened at the age of 50, 55, they are diabetics. At the age of 60, they have developed complications. At the age of 65, heart attack, heart failure. At the age of 68, kidney transplant, 70, etc. For the next, after 50 years, next 15 to 20 years, they suffer. But it's not just they suffering. People in and around them also have to go through suffering. This is the balance that we have to have. Next, please. Next, please. As Professor Vinod was telling, the health span lifespan gap in this activity, longevity leap, mind the health span study, was about 10 years. People live up to 73 years. At the age of 64, they already have a lot of problems. You name it, whether it is osteoporotic, whether it is muscular loss, sarcopenia, etc., etc. They suffer for next 10 years. But the technology in medicine is so fantastic today. The technology in medicine will not allow them to die, but the technology cannot stop them from suffering. Okay? This internalization that we have to have today. Okay? Next. Right. These are all, some of it, my king is Singh is king. Is so fantastic about evidence-based medicine. I deliberately included these two. What you see in the blue line and the red line, the preeminent increase has occurred in those older than 70 years of age, blue line, outpacing those younger than 70 years of age. So there is a divergence. People are living longer than people who are dying a little bit earlier, whether it is a road traffic accident, etc., like that. This divergence, whether you like it or not, leads to degeneration and problems. Next. Next, please. Same story, whichever way you want to take it. There are 3 green, white, and orange levels. Green is less than 10%, 10 to 20% white, and more than 20% is orange. And when you look at the orange part, if you can see, in this top left corner, orange part is more than 70 years. So slowly, by 2100, there will be a huge number of people who are above 70 years. This is the next concept that has come up, forecasting. Next. Next, please. I'm so sorry. This is technology for me. I'm an ignoramus. It happens. Now, simple concepts. Definition: total years lived from birth to death. Focus: longevity and extending the number of years lived. Number of years. Objective: increase lifespan. Health span: exactly opposite. Extend healthy years. Minimize disease and disability is the concept. If you can put it in succinct 3 levels. Next, please. Objective of longevity or lifespan is aimed to live longer. Don't bother about whether your back is hurting, your knees are hurting, you cannot remember people, etc. But health span is to focus a healthy quality life. Intervention: prioritize medical treatments. Intervention here: focus on lifestyle changes. Outcome: individuals can live long but with significant health problems. Here, live long, a healthy aging concept. This is what today people like you and I should put both medical technology, medical treatments, and lifestyle changes in a single basket, so that from today onwards, in the next 5 years, the so-called chronic disease or other problem burden on our patients, on the system, on their family, on the nation comes down. This is the first component. I just wanted to share my feelings with you. Now let's change gear and go to a little bit next level. Next, please. Right. I hope all of you have heard about blue zones. I was stunned. This is not a new thing. It's in the previous 1999-2002, an editor of a magazine and a writer called Dan Buettner from America found out why people are living longer, why people are suffering with problems because they are living longer. That thing came to him and it went around the world. And to his surprise, in 5 places of this world, he saw people living to 100 years, 70%, 60%, 80% of people living up to 100 years and healthily. He called them as blue zones. You can click Dan Buettner and blue zone. You get a huge amount. You can read. I'm sure all of you know about it. It is Okinawa in Japan, Icaria in Greece, Sardinia in Italy, Loma Linda in California, and Nicoya. And today, 2024, I'm sorry I couldn't put that slide. There are two places that are emerging as new blue zones. It will be surprising to know one of them is Singapore. The other one, North Pakistan, Hunza Valley. They are doing it. Let's not go there. Next, please. Just click. Right. Blue zones are geographic areas with lower rates of chronic diseases and a longer life expectancy. People around the age of 90, they are still able to do their daily work and take care of themselves. Next. Just go on clicking 3 times. Okay. Icaria, an island where people eat a Mediterranean diet rich in olive oil, red wine, and homegrown vegetables. This is the quintessence of why Icaria people live longer. Oligiastra, Sardinia, home to some of the oldest men in the world. They live in the mountainous regions where they typically work on farms and drink lots of red wine. I'm not talking about this. This is what is written. Okinawa is home to world's oldest women who eat a lot of soy-based food, practice Tai Chi, that slow thing with mental activity, and a meditative form of exercise. So, ladies and gentlemen, when you are a man, you want to live longer, where do you go? Go to Sardinia. Drink a lot of wine. If you are a woman, you want to live longer, where do you want to go? Go to Okinawa. Live together. But please click two more, please. Nita?
Yes, sir.
One more. Right. Nicoya Peninsula in Costa Rica, Central America. The diet is based around beans and corn tortillas. We have been talking, don't eat carbohydrates, bring it down, blah, blah, blah. But they have been eating mainly carbohydrates and beans of this area regularly perform physical jobs into old age and have sense of life purpose known as plan the vida, life plan or scheme of life. What is the scheme of life? Please do not worry what happens to you at the age of 50 when you are 30. Start worrying about 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. That is plan the vida. They put a plan for their life. Fifth one is Seventh-day Adventists of Loma Linda, America. You think they don't have healthy lives? Look at this, California. What stands out in these people are, they are very religious group of people. And most of them are strict vegetarians and tight-knit families. So take all these places, tight-knit communities. As I showed and as many people said, grandfather, grandmother, parents, children, though they live a little bit apart in the city or in the village, when it comes to lunchtime, they all come together, laugh a lot, have the same type of food and go back. So the denominator, according to Dan Buettner, is living with your own people, loving your own people. That's the first thing that has come out. Next, please.
Yeah, Nita, proceed.
This is the problem. Anyway, so
I think
now.
Nita, go on.
Okay. The issue now is, if you remember, or when you remember, what is the definition of diet? Unfortunately, many of us have forgotten. Diet is what should be eaten, what should not be eaten, blah, 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 and all that. But if the definition, if you remember, diet is region-specific, ethnic-specific food. Nothing to do with your balanced diet is different, but diet you should convince region-specific. In Mysore, where I stay, if you ask me to eat some sushi, God bless me, because I have no idea what it is. Plus, it may not be available. So this is the concept they have come up with. So let's not confuse. Please understand, it's my opinion, my view. It's always open for discussions. I have never confused my patients about what to eat and what not to eat. I tell them, what have you been eating? It's good enough. 3 things you should be careful: when to eat, what to eat, and how much to eat. That's all. We'll discuss if necessary. Now, health span extending toolkit. Science, regeneration, antisenescence. I'm not talking. There are some funny drugs. I can't even pronounce them. And I will not be able to, let me tell you, do not ask me about these antisenescence drugs. I have very little knowledge. But society and medicine, we can always do a great job. Society, even today, doctors are very well respected. We need to hold on to this. Next, please. Toolkit, science, society, and medicine. Let's work on that. I'm sure we can make a group. Probably 6 months later, we'll see where we are. Now, there are 4 or 5 dimensions for this toolkit. The communal dimension, public health initiatives, social disease determinants, all those funny things. Communal dimension, where the whole concept should work as a unit in the community. Clinical dimension, multi-morbid, target medical part of it, how to help them out. Augmented decision support. Decision you do, who should augment it? People in and around. A man who has diabetes, no point in telling him what to eat and what not to eat. You have to tell his wife who cooks for him. You tell his wife, she will cook the right food for the diabetic husband and also in-laws. That concept of a clinical dimension. Next, please. Research dimension, I will not talk much about, because targeting senescent cells, xenotherapeutics selectively kill senescent cells. You remember, I forget the name of the Japanese doctor. Few years ago, he got a Nobel Prize for what? Autophagy. Autophagy. What did he say? When there are senescent cells and when people fast, the first thing to be eaten by the body is the old cells. They take out all those old cells and do it. And for our greatness in our so-called religion, or whatever you want to call it, as the way of living, fasting is a fantastic concept which has gone on at least 5 days in a month, or at least 3 days in a fortnight, etc., like that. That's the research dimension. And we are looking at Westerners to tell about what we have been doing in our life. For ages, thousands of years we have been doing. We didn't look at it in a scientific manner. The last one is economic consideration. I will not speak much about it. You can understand. Older the person, it's not just medicines. There are so many more things when it comes to resource setting and economics. So these 4 dimensions, if you can keep your mind in a proper manner, slowly there will be a mindset change. Slowly, probably we can improve the lifespan, health span gap from 10 years to 7, 8, 6, something like that. Next, please. Yeah, next, please. It doesn't matter. Extended health horizon. Now, so do you understand, sir? Ladies and gentlemen, first component, I just gave you a brief of what is it, health span, lifespan, and things like that. Next, what can be done? The toolkit that we should get ready with, so that we can probably extend our knowledge and wisdom to our patients. Role of healthcare professionals. Smile. That is the greatest thing that is lost. In fact, I have been seeing my postgraduates and some of the junior doctors, they don't even look at the patients. Okay, did you get those tests? Give it to me. They don't even look at the patients. I'm sorry. I think all elderly people like you and all that should understand this. Unless we smile often, it doesn't work. Patient listening. We'll have to listen to the patient. We don't have time. Empathy. I don't know how I can put empathy into the picture. Empathy, by definition, is you can understand the problem of a person when you have gone through empathy, when you've gone through the problem. I keep telling this to my postgraduates and junior doctors. Empathy is defined as, if you have gone through a problem, you can understand the problem when other person is going through. But I keep telling them, do you think you should have a heart attack to know what is heart attack? Do you think you should get a kidney failure to know what kidney failure is? So for doctors like you and I, we call it as clinical empathy. We study, we read, we put knowledge base, but we should put empathy into that. When we see a myocardial infarction patient, we need not have MI, but we should know how painful it is and how problematic it is. That has to be inculcated into our medical profession. It will do well. Cost effective versus cost benefit and benefit risk prescriptions. You all know aspirin versus statin. Cost effectiveness, both are very effective. Cost benefit, aspirin is fantastic. Benefit risk, probably, that issue. But for us, unless we make our mind to look at the prescription that we write to the patient about these three things, we will not be able to improve their health, span or their healthy living, because it is the patient who is taking all those 7 or 8 drugs we are writing, not us. Resource support. They say, okay, doctor, I'll go. Who is going to cook for them? They are in the middle of Mumbai or Delhi. Where are they going to exercise? That's resource support. We have to think about it today. Last one, please practice what we preach. Healthcare professional concept I've told. Next, please. Next. Right. So these are the quadrantic analysis that has happened. In the left upper quadrant, you have, I will decide for you. Okay. Tell me your problem. Let me take care of your problem. Paternalistic module. It was there 50, 40 years ago. It will not work. Now, in addition, I tell you my preferences. I tell you what to do, but please understand, my preference is diet first, drug next. My preference is drug first because your blood sugars are very high, etc. like that. The third one is I give you facts and help you to find your preferences. Interpretative model. The last one is informative model. I give you facts. Unfortunately, the last informative model has become patient giving the facts to you. Google University, they come and say, doctor, look at these things. You may not know 2 or 3 side effects of the drug. He or she will tell you. So informative model is very difficult to understand. But interpretive model, I think we should look at it in a different manner. Paternalistic, sometimes it's, yes, it is necessary. Deliberative model with educated people, yes. But when it comes to across the patient, population of illiterates, small educations, PhDs, etc. like that, interpretative model works very well. I give you facts. Unless I am a patient to Dr. NK Singh, when I have some problems, I give you facts don't work. Okay, so this is the change that we have to do. Next, please. Okay, there was this, Stephen D. Pearson in 2000, trust in patient-doctor relations. Patient trust in physicians, many theories, few measures, and little data. Many theories, how to improve patient-doctor trust, etc. There are a lot of ideas, but very little data is available. If you ask me, it is individualized. You know what my patients trust in me, what I tell them to trust in me, may not work in Calcutta, it may not work in Mumbai. This is the concept of healthcare professionals, that how to build patient trust. Next, please. Next, please. These are all theory. Yeah. There are 3 very important Anderson-Dedrick trust in physician scale. It helps you to write your own activity of how to improve your patient's trust in you. Primary care assessment survey and patient trust scale. I'll just leave it. The slides are there. You can take them and make notes and exchange it with my email. I'll be happy, and I'm sure I'll be very happy that I spoke to extraordinary people today. Next. Relationship from doctor knows best to trust me, I am your doctor. This is something I remember when I started my practice 42 years ago, I had an ICS officer, Indian Civil Service. I started telling him, don't do this, don't do that, do this, etc. He said, stop, doctor. Do you have diabetes? I said, what are you talking? I am very young. I don't have diabetes. I exercise, etc. What he said? He said, I think you do not know much about diabetes, doctor. Please don't mistake me. So it is time you tell them, trust me, I am your doctor. I am here. Interpretative model. Think about it. Instead of saying, I know best, just listen to me. This is one way of doing it. This is one simple summary I can give. Next, please. Yeah, sorry. 70 to 80% of patients have not been truthful with their doctors at some point during their visit. Do you agree? Many times it's almost 100%. They will be talking something, neighbor says something, they'll be eating. Some Ayurveda fellow says they'll be taking, but they will never delve to it. This is one thing you have to keep quiet, in your mind. I keep telling my patients, it doesn't matter. Please tell me whether you are doing something beyond the advice that I have given, beyond the way you are supposed to. Sometime later, when the trust develops, they will always come to you. And trust principle, trust, T, top level commitment, we all have. Our risk assessment, this is where we really have to look at. We just say diabetes, 5 years later, neuropathy, 8 years later, kidney function, 5 to 8 years later, retinopathy. That's not risk assessment. Risk assessment for the next 20, 30 years for them. Undertake control measures, systemic review, monitoring and enforcement. It's just theory. But T, training and communication. Who should be trained? Not only the doctor, the patient, the attendants and all that, and communication, proper communication. Trust principle. Next, please. Yeah. Components of building trust. Competent, you should be competent enough. Dependable, you should be available for the patients. Be honest when it comes to that, and considerate. It's very easy to talk about it. When it comes to competency, no questions asked. Most of the doctors are very competent. Are they dependable? Maybe all of us, some of us may not be. But when it comes to honesty, I am honest, very honest with my patient. What happens? Maybe down the road, they will take me to court. So that is a question mark. And considerate. Let's be considerate. It is they who have to live with diabetes, hypertension for the rest of their life. Let's be considerate enough to make it very easy for them to live. Next. Next one, please. Yeah, the last two slides. I was very much impressed by this slide. When I was young, I used to admire intelligent people. As I grow, I admire kind people. So what does our patient expect? Whether they are young or old, you should be intelligent, competent, but at the same time, you should be kind. Next, please. That is the quintessence of building trust, and probably patients doing better in that. Kindness, not just intelligence, is what patient expects. Next, please. Key points: healthy lifestyle, preventive care, mental health, sleep and recovery. When you look at these strategies to enhance health span, who should be the most important person? Healthy lifestyle, patient. Preventive care, patient. Mental health, patient. Sleep and recovery, patient. They have to do it. All you can do is build trust, be considerate, be kind, empathize with their problem of day in and day out for the next 30, 40 years of living. Probably there will be a mindset change, and we can probably improve or reduce the gap between lifespan and health span. We're talking. Next, please. Yeah. Beautiful. Morning, good morning. When we start, what did I say? One of the first things that you should do in your life is be very communicative. Good morning is a beautiful communication. And next, please smile. Smile, a small smile is good enough. It makes the patient sitting in front of you a little bit comfortable. But the Tibetan proverb says, the secret to living well and longer, health span, lifespan. Eat half, walk double, laugh triple, and love without measure. Beautiful concept. The whole thing, whatever we are talking about science, whatever we are talking about social activity, comes down to three: eating, exercise, and so-called distress management. Beautiful proverb. Next, please. Thank you. I hope I put a smile in your face. Please put a smile in your patients and friends and neighbors' face. Probably we will succeed in our mission. Thank you very much for your patient listening. It's open for discussion.
Great, sir. So I think first I request Dr. Binod Vichandani to give initial comments.
This is an outstanding talk, and very honestly, sir, I mean, I'm so overwhelmed and in awe of your excellent oratory skills and how simply you have driven home so many important facets of lifespan and health span. So if you permit me, as you were speaking, I have jotted down a summary of what I understood from your fabulous talk. So may I, Dr. N.K. Singh, sir,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
mention that? So a physician's role in optimizing both lifespan and health span is comprehensive, focusing not only on treating illness, but also on prevention, early detection, and promoting healthy aging. And through individualized evidence-based care, I think physicians help patients achieve a balance between living longer and living better. I think that was very well conveyed by Honorable Dr. Sekhar, sir. And this will ensure that additional years, whatever the person happens to live for, are characterized by vitality, independence, and minimal burden of diseases. So this is what I have learned from your brilliant talk, sir.
Thank you. Thanks, sir.
Professor Shekhar, I think something which we have already, learned from you earlier also, and today, I understand from your heart you are telling all these things. Our youngsters have to listen to this particular type of things because as our professor used to, my professor was Dr. K. Banerjee, who was contemporary to Ravi Shankar, and he used to play the sitar with Ravi Shankar, my professor, Dr. K. Banerjee, and he used to tell us the same thing which you have told just now, that it is your patient is the primary thing, and God has given your life. We are so blessed that we have been given this profession. So earlier, what the other people used to say, all the people used to say, noble profession. So noble profession is this. The God has given us the really something which is a noble profession, and we have to abide by that. And actually, what you have told, empathy, all these things, the youngsters do not understand absolutely. They are so, they understand YouTube and all these things, the everything. So they don't understand the real patient-doctor relationship. I have 4 generation of people who are with me for last 40 to 45 years. Since 45 years I am practicing, and I have got the 3 to 4 generation. They are coming regularly, and it is what the faith his grandfather was with me. So this is how we have to, inculcate the things to our youngsters. If even few people have listened this lecture today, I think it is our job is okay. This is my thing.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
so Dr. Sekhar, really excellent one. I think this topic will be viral definitely. So I think, is there any blue zone existing in India also, any part of our, any states, anything, any idea?
Mountainous areas,
Yeah.
they live longer, sir. But I am sorry, I don't know if I can tell there are blue zones. But there was that paradigm, if you remember, Singh sir. People, they say, my grandmother lived up to 98. She took care, eyes were normal, ears were normal, everything like that. But the paradigm here is that grandmother's 10 other siblings would have died at the age of 40, 42. That natural selection, because they had the right genes, they had the right food, etc., like that, made them live longer. But we, as the statistical way look at it, 70% of our people who are growing older should be healthy at the age of 75, 80. That is the concept. For that, if you look at in India, there are plenty of centenarians. I'm sure if the statistical part, when you talk about incidence and prevalence or whatever nonsense we talk about, you take a small country where number of people living with 100 years is 80%, but the total population is just 10 million. Look at India. Number of people living beyond 100 is only 5%. Look at 140 crores. Much more number of people are living longer in India than that. But unfortunately, it is not centered in small groups. Everywhere you go to Rajasthan, definitely and centenarians. You come to Tamil Nadu, centenarians. But we, as insightful doctors, have not looked at why. If we can do that, probably we can help out. That's my
Sir
take.
Shekhar, I want to ask one question. It is a question and comment both. We are seeing these days the polluted things, the EDCs everywhere, even your perfumes, your plastic bottles, microplastics, everywhere, the faulty dietary habits, you can say. These are one of the important things we have to, though healthy habits are not there. And even our food is adulterated from the pesticides, from the microplastics. We are actually studying endocrine disruptive chemicals. And actually, I'm one of the part of EDC committee in the International EDC committee. And I know that now our everything, your water, your food, your fruits, everything is, adulterated by these endocrine disruptive chemicals. These are the real things which reduces your health at the end of 40 years, 50 years, this middle age?
Fantastic comment. It's not a question, sir. It's a fantastic input to it. I would tell you 2-3 things. Forever chemicals you just mentioned, which are endocrine disruptors. You remember it all started in 93. All, chemistry people, all those right thinking people, 93 started, and in 1996 they, met in Stockholm, and they came out with Stockholm's Dirty Dozen. I hope you remember. Stockholm's Dirty Dozen, it's called as. They identified 12 chemicals in our food chain and our life chain, which is going to give a lot of trouble. Out of that, 8 were pesticides. Today, as you said, huge number. I keep telling my young diabetics below the age of 40, the rice you eat, is it the same rice which your grandfather used to eat? Oh, yes, sir, rice we grow, etc. But as you said, it's not. My grandfather ate very, very clean rice. I am eating a dirty rice which has a lot of chemicals. But one hope is, as we evolve, these chemicals get involved in, it may give trouble to this generation of 20-25 years. Another 20 years from now, it becomes an involution into our system, except cancergenesis. Endocrine disruption, it occurs now, 6-year-olds becoming, attaining menarche, 7-year-olds, yes. We have heard about it, bisphenol A, etc., etc. Yeah. But it's not happening today. Down the road, in last 15 years, the so-called premature menarche has come down. There is some sort of a change, except, my expert opinion, if you want to take it, except cancerogenesis, we have to do this. But who should start? I remember, particulate matter 2.5 and 10. I was in Delhi for RSSDI. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't breathe. I came back home, I was all right. So it's
the peak
that is giving to trouble. Who is bringing out this 2.5? This has to be told. I'm sure the young generation are very intelligent, but they are not wise. They don't have wisdom. They are very intelligent. They know the whole story. Unless they change that mindset, it will not happen. But who has to cat the bell? The cat, or whatever you want to call it. We should do it, sir. You, Singh, Vinod, Akash, all those people I see here should take the first step and try to do something.
One quick
Right.
question from my end. What is 80% rule?
80-20.
80%, yeah, 80-20.
80-20% rule is a psychological rule. Whatever you do, 20% of people will never accept it. The 80% out of the 20 will accept, 60 will sit on the fence. Unless you convince them, you cannot change.
I just would like to draw your attention to this, but this put this question in context of the blue zone. So 80% rule is, that's what it reads, that is a person, just pushes away from the dining table as soon as he's around 80% full.
Oh, wow, that is true.
So that is how
Okay.
probably longevity and health span both are being benefited.
Sir,
So,
I tell you, when you look at how to eat,
yes.
I was surprised. About 20 days ago, I spoke to a group of people where how to eat. Can you imagine? Chew slow. Think of good things when you're chewing. Don't have bad things in you.
Yes.
Smell your food first and then chew slow. Swallow. When you think you're half full, you stop. Like that, 8 or 10 concepts are there. But who has the time to do it today, sir? Imagine elites and Bangaloreans.
Shekhar, my grannies, now I remember that she used to say us all children that chew 32 times.
Yes.
This is a very a dictum which used to tell, our grannies used to tell at that time.
Right.
So the
And one
most
more
effective.
thing, maybe may seem to be out of context, sir, but my mother, grandmother, all the seniors in the family have taught us to, when we start a meal, maybe a quick meal, hurried meal, or a very luxurious, dinner time, but we will pray first and then start our meal. So I don't know. It probably
Sir,
some positive vibes. So
no, it is written law in all religions, sir.
yes, all across.
Christians do that, Islam faith does it. But unfortunately, we have missed it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Akash, there is a question. Can you read it
Yes.
in the chat
What are
box?
the most common barriers physicians face in promoting preventive healthcare, and how can they overcome these challenges to improve patient outcomes? Now, I would like to answer this question. The problem is that despite a lot of advances in medicine and new drugs and all, the incidence and prevalence of diabetes and chronic disease is on the rise. And this is because we are failing to prevent these diseases. We treat these diseases once they crop up, but before they crop up, we are failing to. This is because it is very difficult to convince the population who is otherwise healthy population to follow all the preventive measures and the lifestyle modification we advise. But we have to devise methods that even during that stage before the disease occurs, we diagnose, and we have tests now like serum insulin levels, like SGPT, SGPT, like detecting fatty liver, and we have to bring out guidelines basically for prevention, basically using these tests, because unless the patient has some objective evidence that there is a abnormality inside, they will not follow our opinion, because they will say just okay, the sugar is 104 fasting, or SGPT is 40, 41, and this is okay, and I will do some diet restriction here and there. So they take it very lightly, but we have to sort of focus on those investigations which are abnormal even before the inception of the disease, and we have to initiate lifestyle modifications during that period, and demonstrate that, like we can demonstrate improvement in the insulin levels, improvement in the fatty liver, improvement in the liver enzymes. So all those things, improvement in the blood pressure, uric acid, all of these, which are the bad biochemical markers, basically, we have to focus on them. And we are working on a project basically on these lines in Baroda, basically, because we really want to prevent diseases before they become apparent, basically, and when it is too late to treat them. We can only control, basically.
Yeah, any comment, sir?
As far as I'm concerned, sir, I will just take two examples of Dr. Akash. The first one is SGOT-PT. For ages, as I remember now, I have looked at any SGOT-PT beyond 27 as abnormal. Though the normal range is 35, 38 for something nonsense they give. When we look at the evidence that is available, anybody who has a PT beyond 27, they're already going towards whatever, fatty liver, whatever you want to call it as.
MSLD.
And we have been focusing on fat, carbohydrates for ages. But as Professor Akash said, the biggest problem today is uric acid. Uric acid leads to NAFLD much faster than your fatty foods that we eat. But have we really looked at uric acid? 6 is okay, we say, but 6 is not okay, sir. So this is the way, as Professor Akash said, I fully agree with him. Unless we open our internal eyes and ears and understand where we are erring, as he said, 40 is okay. He thinks 40 is okay because we put it as normal range. Unless we take care of that, we may
There
not
has to be mass education of the doctors, basically, before we educate the public regarding the preventive strategies and the values which should be normal. Like you said, uric acid of 5.5 or SGPT of 25. So those values have to be inculcated in the healthcare professionals. So because we advise the patient, but he goes to some other doctor, he says it's okay, there's no need to worry. And they don't take the preventive measures which should be taken.
Dr. Patni, your talk on your opinion on this uric acid. Suppose uric acid is 7 or 8, and I have got no symptoms. And recently there were some papers, very recently I posted on the X also, that this 7 or this 8 should be treated even without symptoms. So what is your take on that?
Basically, when we try to look into the uric acid part only, we all are aware of that. It's basically the inbuilt secretion is the major culprit. Just don't say that's the diet which is providing the uric acid. Secondly, what Dr. Sekhar said is definitely more important in almost all the outcomes which you see. So we are basically looking at the serum uric acid, but are we able to acknowledge the fact that it is going to lead to these chronic disorders? NAFLD happens to be the crux of all the problems now. Everyone is aware of the issues. And if you do a basic kind of liver function test, can we really define NAFLD just looking at SGOT, SGPT? This is another one. Most of the cases you'll find them to be normal. So even the 25, 27, which Dr. Sekhar said, becomes very important because they are considered to be normal, but they are very important. We need to look further into it. So I think uric acid is an important issue. We have correlated with the hypertension as well. We have correlated with other comorbid conditions or metabolic disorders. But let's come to the first. I would like to say a few words about the talk which Dr. Sekhar sir has delivered. I think it was a real standout, and I could see the passion for the topic in him. So that is very important. I too believe in two important factors that one need to be a good listener and a good communicator. This, I think, is a basic requirement for any physician in today's world. You need to be a good listener and good communicator so that you can really actually get the confidence of that patient. So I am really impressed with what Sir said. It was really a thought-provoking talk, and I'm thankful for you as well to take up this particular subject because lifespan is very easy to say, but is it health span? Is it equivalent to health span? That is what we actually learned from his talk. Thank you, Professor Sekhar. I'm extremely indebted for that your wonderful talk of yours.
Thank you.
Akash, I request you to now, I think, take a home message from each of our panelists and our speaker. So can we, I think you can start from one. So you start and then finally, I think Dr. Patni has already concluded the talk. So you can propose the vote of thanks. So start from the take home messages.
I will request Shekhar sir to give a short take-home message of his talk.
Oh my God, the toughest job you have put on me now. Okay, how do I say? I think, you know, my God, Dr. Akash, you have put me on a spot now. I can't think beyond my lecture. Anyway, let me tell you, I've been telling my juniors, most important thing for a person, much more for a doctor, is personal integrity. Okay? Unless have a personal integrity, I don't think we can convince anybody in and around us. I've already told about that. The first step we should take is don't bother about people in and around us. Bother about us first. My take-home message is whatever we have earned, whatever we have garnered as knowledge, let's start practicing it ourselves. Then tell our wives, tell our children, tell our neighbors, and start there. If Rotary Club calls me, if Lion Club calls me, and I give a good speech like this, it's not going to matter, sir. This is one thing I would like to tell you. You all remember, suddenly forgot her name. She was one of the best dietitians. Anil Kapoor's wife, Kavita Kapoor. Way back, 25 years ago, we did a program. We went to all big hotels, about 4 or 5 in Bangalore, and said, we'll make a very simple concept. You cannot stop using oil, but how to make your usage of oil healthy? She had only 3 concepts, what we call as traffic light concept. I hope you all remember green, red, yellow. What is green oil? What is red oil? What is yellow oil? Red oil, according to her, was not just polyunsaturated, etc. like that. The red oil was that which has been many times cooked. 10 times cooking is a red oil. Once or twice is a green oil. 4 times is a Itara. Simple concept, she used to do that. And we, food and beverages managers, we had a half a day program and said, whenever you give a menu, at the end of the menu, you put 1 green drop, 2 yellow drops, and 3 red drops. Let the people take a choice. You keep telling them that we have more oil in this. If you want less, we'll do this. None of the hotels took it. Sir, you tell like this. If we do this, nobody will come to our hotel and eat. So unless, I keep telling this. I'm sorry, can I take the time?
Yes, sir, no problem, sir.
See, I remember about 15, 20 years ago, this kidney failure patients used to tell, sir, you people say eat less. How to eat lesser and all that. That made me think. And then when I went back home and ate my food, it felt salty. I asked my wife, how much do you put? Some number, she said, 4, 5, something like that. So I decided, I told her to make sambar without salt. Then I added 1 teaspoonful of salt and ate 1 morsel of rice. I ate 2 teaspoonful of salt, morsel of rice. To my surprise, though I thought I was eating less salt, it was 4 teaspoonfuls. The sambar with 4 teaspoonfuls was what I was eating. So I took this and put it into practice and said, you want to know how it is? Start with 0 sambar, 0 salt sambar. You will vomit. You put 1 teaspoonful, you put 3 teaspoonful. Once you come to 2.5 teaspoonful, you stop. And it really took, it made the wife become more, insightful and things like that. And I'm sure you all agree, when we start eating less salt and after 6 months, it becomes a standard for us. When I have been eating 2 teaspoonfuls of salt per day for next 6 months to 1 year, you offer me 4 teaspoonful, it will be very salty. I'm eating 6 teaspoonful and you give me 4 teaspoonful, it is saltless. So this concept of understanding ourselves, internalizing, and then telling a patient makes sense. I hope I made sense to you.
Yeah, great, sir, great.
This is the message.
I will now request Dr. Arvind Gupta to give a take-home message.
I think what I understand from today's thing, मैं एक अपने बस शायरी के रूप में बताना चाहता हूँ which is I think जो आज का मैसेज है, टेक होम मैसेज, जिंदगी जिंदा दिली का नाम है, मुर्दा दिल क्या खाक जिया करते हैं, live life fullest. I think what I understand from Dr. Shekhar's all session today, that live life fullest and to your patient also.
Great.
That's.
I will now request Dr. Abhichandani to give a short
Yes,
take-home
sir.
message.
I think a very important takeaway for myself from the brilliant talk was that empathy coupled with shared decision making, where patients' values and preferences are considered in treatment choices, will help all of us, and the whole package and all the interventions that we offer to our patients get aligned with patients' goals. That's what I feel was the important takeaway.
Yeah, Dr. Patni, your take-home message also.
Yeah, so empathy plus shared decision making.
Exactly, sir. Thank you. Patni sir.
I think the concept was very clear after good deliberation. It was healthy aging, which was emphasized. And we had a lot of factors which could contribute to healthy aging. Some of them have been specified by Dr. Arvind Gupta, sir. Some has been specified by Dr. B.P. Chandani, sir, as well. So I think I'm not going to go too much in detail, but one thing is very clear: healthy aging for myself and for my patients. That's the way how what should go about. There are a lot of factors which can help in that. We should try to concentrate there, and a lot of factors were brought in. I think we need to look into that and at least try to incorporate in our. That's what I think. So.
Great, Patni Saab. So I think about the healthy eating, Dr. Patni, lots of confusion, lots of misconception is prevailing in our world. Like suppose if you just ask you about whether you tell your patient to take ghee or not, and I tell that, well, Dr. Dara Singh took 250 gram of cow ghee per day and lived for 84 years. So that is also happening in the world. So how to deal with that? So, Sekhar sir, can
The
you
thing
tell
is,
anything about
important event is what ghee you are eating, sir. Already, a lot of talk was there about adulteration. Now, whatever ghee you're going to bring, probably you're not even aware of the quality of that ghee. If you have your own ghee production and you are confident about that, I don't mind 250 grams a day would be good enough. I don't think so. And as Dr. Sekhar gave us an idea about the traffic light signal of the oils, I think that's a good way of practicing, and one probably should go for it. We always say it's a mix of oil which is better than any one particular oil. Even that, from more important is the how many times you have cooked that oil. That is more important than what type of oil you're using. So these are smaller stuff, but they are very important. And I think this small stuff should be. Now, how many of us, sir, with due respect, how many of what we preach or teach do we really practice? So that's important. We need to preach, teach, and practice in the similar way. Then only it is going to help. So that will, it's a day. I mean, that's a long way to go for that.
exactly? So Akash, I think we are end of the session. So you have to also give your take-home message and also clear ki whether for longevity some alcohol is needed or not, and then you end.
But you can
My
do
take-home
better.
message is for the people, they should live in harmony with themselves. There should not be any inner conflict. There should be a moderation of eating, and there should be regular exercise. As far the patients are concerned, we should always remember that patients are sick, they come to us for treatment, and we have to basically treat them with empathy. I have not heard a single medical legal lecture in my practice of 30 years because I don't believe in it. I know that patient is coming to us because he's sick. He wants us to treat, to empathize, and that relationship with the patient itself takes care of all these side issues which people are now talking about, and there are seminars going on. So all of this basically can avert a lot of medical legal issues if you behave very properly the patient and with great empathy. And we should also let go some. We should be very lenient on the commercial front also if the patient is unable to shell out the money. So these are my messages. in general, basically. And anybody who is not living as per his own wish, as per his own passions, as per his own satisfaction, is bound to have inner conflict and bound to have get into lifestyle these chronic lifestyle diseases. So this is my message. I will also request Dr. N.K. Singh to give his message before we can propose a vote of thanks and close the session.
I think Akash already we have given our best of the parts from our life, and I think Dr. Gupta has given you a beautiful Sairi message. Dr. Sekhar has given, Dr. Binod Chandani has given. All are the great persons here. So I think well, our destiny is something different that you cannot that will going to happen, but apart from the destiny we should follow in moderation in life. But only thing that today's world lots of our younger generation, our younger doctors, the chronobiology has changed totally. They are not sleeping at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, and they are basically, they have never seen the rising sun. So this is the reality of our life today. And that is the most important problem which I think we are facing today. Even I started to stop eating after 6 p.m. like Dr. Patni. And I think this is a wonderful concept of the chronomedicine. So these things should be also propagated, and that is my message that whatever you do, do in moderation. That is the I think the best way to live and to I think for practice. And you very well message you have given about the medical legal things also. Empathy it definitely works. With that, I request you to propose a vote of thanks.
Sir, can I add two things, sir?
Yeah,
Sorry.
sure, sir. Sure, sir. No issue,
I'm
sir.
holding up you people from your dinner.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah,
Alcohol, you mentioned, King Singh,
yeah.
you mentioned alcohol. The recent evidence says even one alcohol 60 ml you have taken can increase the chance of cancer by fourfolds,
Yes,
if
sir.
you believe in evidence medicine. But when you look at available data or available knowledge, it is not C2H5OH that gives you trouble. It is the co-geners they put into the alcohol. You know,
Exactly.
your whiskey has different co-geners, your wine has different co-geners. Imagine we drink only C2H5OH, nothing will happen.
Exactly.
Ethyl alcohol taken as ethyl alcohol, nothing may happen. But the co-geners, they say gin is ladies' drink because it has so many co-geners that makes the alcohol smell come down. That is the one that is giving trouble. The second one is, I remember, I cannot pronounce the Sanskrita part of it. It says, follow the sun. For millennia of years, Earth is rotating. Sun rises in the east, sets in the west, etc. You all know, morning, evening, morning, night, etc. like that. In Sanskrita, it's said, follow the sun. Whatever you do, follow the sun. Rise of sun, be ready to do your job. Have your food, work, and when the sun starts setting, come back, have food, and go to sleep. If we can do that, as you said, chronobiology, chrononutrition, all the things will be set right.
Ultimate, sir.
Sir, I will not advise alcohol to people because there is tendency for episodic binge alcoholism, for habituation of alcoholism. And alcohol basically follows the fructose pathway because it shuts down the ATP production and it diverts the metabolites to the uric acid production, and there is hyperuricemia. And a uric acid is a cellular toxin, and basically it is also causing mitochondrial damage also. So alcohol is something which I would not advocate basically, and
No,
should
we're
not
not
be taken.
advocating Akash. Only think that there are
Discuss.
lots of data also. I think even the recent data is there that in moderation
Okay.
alcohol can be cardioprotective, can be even the prevention of diabetes is possible. I think that Sekhar sir has given a very, very important thing, which sometimes we will keep some seminar on that itself. So now you propose the vote of thanks.
So, Singh Saab, let's all strive to be role models for our patients. That's another takeaway from our
Yes, I think this
talk.
is the right thing, because if you are role model, people just see you whenever you are, even in the morning, what you are doing, in the afternoon, what you are doing, in the parties, what you are doing. So I think that is the very, very important thing. You are the role model for the society. And if you are doing something which is not to, I mean, which you are not
Simple
preaching. This is not
example,
good.
अरविंद सर इज के मेरा अगर मोटापे वाला पेशेंट है, मैं खुद ही 140 किलो का हूँ, and then I suggest to him, knock off your weight, restrict your calories, he is going to be really unhappy about. I am not proving to be a good example for him. So I think that's another good takeaway from sir's talk.
Exactly, sir.
I thank Dr. Shekhar for such a excellent talk, basically, and such a enlightening talk. And the talk is really needed for our community of doctors as well as for the population at large. I also thank Dr. Vinod Abhichandani and Dr. Arvind Gupta for moderating the session so well, for providing so much insightful ideas related to the talk, and Dr. Arvind Gupta in particular for meaningful poetry, which set a perfect example and background for the talk to be delivered. I thank Dr. N.K. Singh and Dr. Vijay Patni for moderating the session, for giving their inputs, for the relevant discussions, and for the carry-home message which they delivered during this webinar. I thank Dr. Neeta Kirtane for being there, for moderating this session, and the support team of USP for providing the digital platform for this talk. I will hand over the session to Dr. Neeta Kirtane to formally close it.
Thank you so much, sir.
And
And
lastly, I'll also thank the doctors who attended the webinar basically for
Absolutely.
their patient listening, which basically is a big boost for us.
Dr. N.K. Singh, sir. 3 cheers.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, sir, for as we conclude today's this insightful session on lifespan to health span, the role of physicians. I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to all the dignitaries who have joined today for this session. And as we conclude, let us take forward these insights to enhance our our daily life and make it healthier, so that we can have a a healthy future, and we can bridge this gap between the the lifespan and the health span. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Looking forward
Thank
for
you.
more such
Good night to
sessions.
you all, sir. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.